Romantic Tales. Chapter 129. Things in the world were often like this. Some people were happy and some were sad. Some people were happy and some were in pain. A lot of happiness was often based on other people's pain. At least Yang Ming and Huang Mao were now. Yang Ming's pocket suddenly had 2,000 yuan. Yang Ming felt that it was very interesting. Although he already had a powerful ability in his body, his recent income was all obtained by robbing others. The first time he got a few thousand yuan from Ji Shuixing. The second time he got a few hundred yuan from the gambling stall in front of the school. This time it was this unlucky Huang Mao. Yang Ming didn't care much about this kind of money. So the first time he easily gave it to a little girl who sold herself. He didn't even know who she was. The second time he threw half of it to Li Dagong. This time Yang Ming just casually put it in his pocket. Yang Ming wasn't a stingy person. People who did big things couldn't be stingy. Yang Ming was very consistent with this feature. When he arrived at Zhang Bin's house, Zhang Bin immediately complained, "Why are you so slow? It's only 10 minutes from your house. It's been more than 40 minutes. Even if you walked it wouldn't be so slow. I went to a friend's house first. Didn't I tell you? Besides, I took the subway, not a taxi." Yang Ming said, "Damn, you're also a person with hundreds of thousands of yuan. You still take the subway. How can you be so stingy?" Zhang Bin said sarcastically. Stingy? Yang Ming never thought that he was stingy. Yang Ming never saved where he should spend money. Only when there was some unnecessary money Yang Ming would save. This wasn't stingy. If he didn't save, then he was an idiot. First, I couldn't get a taxi from my friend's house. Second, even if I could get a taxi it might not be faster than the subway. The last time my uncle drove me there it took more than half an hour. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Third, where do I get hundreds of thousands of yuan? Your imperial jade. Zhang Bin was stunned. Then he remembered that the imperial jade was lost. He immediately felt embarrassed. Just ask my dad to compensate you. Besides, didn't you bet so many stones? There should be some valuable ones, right? After being reminded by Zhang Bin, Yang Ming remembered that he still had so many stones in Wang Jitao's company. These were all money. Without money, without his own power, how could he fight with Wang Jitao? And when are we going to your dad's company? After being reminded, Yang Ming was eager to know how much his stones were worth. In the afternoon, there's no rush. Oh yeah, I met a female online friend. She promised me that she would perform an erotic video for me this afternoon. How about it? Let's watch it together later? Zhang Bin smiled lecherously. Yang Ming was an experienced person. Besides, he had a little vixen by his side. He didn't have much interest in erotic videos. However, men were animals that liked to hunt for novelties. So when Zhang Bin said that, Yang Ming's heart immediately itched. Erotic video, huh? It's not that satisfying. Since there's nothing, let's go watch it. Yang Ming put on a sanctimonious look. Don't pretend to be like this. We both know each other well. Zhang Bin looked at Yang Ming with disdain. Hee hee. Yang Ming laughed twice. That's right. When they were in high school, Yang Ming and Zhang Bin definitely talked about sex a lot. Zhang Bin's computer was newly equipped after the college entrance exam. Yang Ming looked at the 22-inch large LCD screen and was envious. When he looked at the configuration he was even more envious. Core Q6600 quad-core CPU, 4G RAM, HD 4850 graphics card, 500G hard disk, and a set of Logitech's wireless mouse. Yang Ming was even more envious. It seems that after I get the money for the jade stone, I should buy a high-end computer. Oh yeah, I can put it at Lon Ling's place after I buy it. This way Lon Ling won't be lonely and I can use it at night. Boss, I haven't opened QQ yet. Why are you drooling like a pig? Zhang Bin looked at Yang Ming, who was in a daze and felt strange. Now, your computer is more attractive to me than the erotic video. Yang Ming pointed at Zhang Bin's computer and said, "Didn't you just buy a laptop?" Zhang Bin asked. "Mine is enough for studying and surfing the net, but the configuration is much worse than yours." Yang Ming said enviously. "You don't play games much. What's the use of having such a good configuration?" Zhang Bin shook his head. "Actually, all the computer hardware in the market can meet our daily needs for studying and living. You have to look at what you are doing. The requirements for 3D design may be higher. For example, surfing the net and chatting. No matter how fast your computer is, even if it has an 8-core CPU and 8G RAM, it won't be faster. My previous computer was close to a 4-core, but it wasn't much slower than this. So, for our own use, if we don't play 3D online games, there's no need to buy a good configuration. That's true. Yang Ming nodded. He didn't have much research in this area. After listening to Zhang Bin's words, he felt that it was indeed the case. Even if Yang Ming played games, he would only play Counter-Strike. His computer configuration was enough. Zhang Bin turned on QQ. As soon as he went online, the messages kept coming in with DDD. When Zhang Bin opened it, there were as many as 70 to 80 messages. Yang Ming took a few glances and suddenly sweated. 90% of Zhang Bin's contacts on QQ were women. And what were these names? XX little slut, flirtatious sweetheart, erotic baby, big-breasted girl, mature woman is a bit perverted. Zhang Bing replied to a few messages with ease and closed the rest of them. Then he only kept a message named Charming Baby and started chatting with him. My little baby Big Brother Bin is here. Zhang Bin's online name was Big Brother Bin. Big Brother Bin, you're late. Charming Baby began to flirt. Let's start. Let me see your... Zhang Bin tapped on the keyboard impatiently. Why are you so anxious? Don't be anxious. Charming Baby said. How can I not be anxious? Big Brother Bin, I'm already burning with desire. Zhang Bin sent a video call invitation. That's not good. Although Charming Baby said so, she still accepted Zhang Bin's invitation. After a while, the connection was established. A girl's chest appeared on Zhang Bin's computer screen. Of course, he was wearing clothes. Hurry up, Big Brother can't take it anymore. Zhang Bin urged. Charming Baby didn't type this time. She said directly into the microphone, why don't you turn on the video call? My camera is broken. I'm going to buy another one tomorrow. Zhang Bin typed. That's not fair. Let me see your XX. Charming Baby said without blushing. Yang Ming heard it and felt a chill. This Charming Baby is too strong. She can even say something like that. It made Yang Ming, a big man, blush for her. Zhang Bin was probably used to it. He typed directly, didn't you see it last time? How about this? I'll definitely show you tomorrow. You showed it to her? Yang Ming looked at Zhang Bin in disbelief. No, I just gave her a picture of a foreign dick yesterday. Zhang Bin laughed. Then what are you going to do tomorrow? Yang Ming asked. Tomorrow? If she wants to see it, I'll ask her out. If she doesn't want to come out, I'll just blacklist her. Zhang Bin said indifferently, I don't have a habit of exposing myself online. Fuck, you are such a wretched guy. Yang Ming raised his middle finger. Wretched? If you're not wretched, then don't look at it. Zhang Bin snorted. Apparently, he was dismissive of Yang Ming's words. Then it's a promise. Tomorrow is a must. As Charming Baby said this, she began to take off her top, followed by her skirt. However, her bra and underwear were taken off after a long time. Nude chat was relatively popular on the internet today. To be honest, this kind of thing was still relatively harmful to teenagers. However, from a legal point of view, it was difficult to convict the non-profitable nude chat. Although it was immoral, it couldn't be banned. Yang Ming wasn't a moralist. This kind of thing naturally didn't need him to worry about, so he enjoyed it with Zhang Bin. Zhang Bin typed some suggestive words from time to time. At the same time, he turned on the video function, saying that he could slowly enjoy it later. Finally, the Charming Baby was completely naked. Then she began to move her hands back and forth between her legs, and some moans came out of her mouth. When Charming Baby's body naturally leaned back, her face also appeared on the screen. When Yang Ming saw Charming Baby's appearance, he immediately froze on the spot. Why is it her? However, it was inappropriate for a man to hit a woman, especially in school. So Yang Ming endured. However, enduring didn't mean that he wouldn't retaliate against Zhou Jiajia. One day after school a month later, Zhou Jiajia was surrounded by 3 delinquent girls. They slapped her face until both sides of her face were like steamed buns. A living calabash was born. These 3 delinquent girls were naturally found by Yang Ming. At that time, Yang Ming was already famous for fighting. It was easy to find a few delinquent girls. Even so, Yang Ming still hated Zhou Jiajia very much. Now that he thought about it, Xia was his first love. She was ruined by the woman in front of him. How could Yang Ming not be angry? However, Zhou Jiajia was such a principled woman in the past. How did she become a slut now? He remembered that there were several students in the other class who pursued Zhou Jiajia. Not only did Zhou Jiajia ignore them, but she also reported them to the teacher. However, in any case, Yang Ming's heart finally vented his anger. His heart was still very refreshed. Zhou Jiejia, you also have such a day. It was just that Zhou Jiejia's face only appeared on the screen for a moment. However, because of the network delay, it was enough for Yang Ming to recognize her. Zhou Jiejia, who was on the other side of the computer, quickly moved her body upward after realizing that her face was being photographed. This moment was just the speed of a spark, so Zhou Jiejia didn't realize that she had been recognized. Fuck, if I were to release this video of yours, would you feel good? Yang Ming thought fiercely. However, Yang Ming didn't want to do such a dirty and wretched thing. He disdained to use this trick to deal with a woman. Zhang Bin was very engrossed in watching. Naturally, he didn't notice that Yang Ming's expression had changed 180 times. Knowing that the person in front of him was Zhou Jiejia, Yang Ming was also interested. It was indeed a very refreshing thing to watch a passionate video of someone he knew, and it was a woman he hated. The strong sense of ridicule and revenge made Yang Ming feel very good. However, at the same time, Xia's shadow kept wandering in his mind. Do I really like Xia? Have I not forgotten her? Yang Ming sighed. That's right, first love was the most unforgettable thing in the world. When Yang Ming's thoughts came back, Zhou Jiejia had already ended the video chat. After turning off the video, Zhang Bin asked with a smile, how was it? Was it cool? It was better than watching a blockbuster, right? It was okay. Yang Ming's thoughts weren't here, so he simply said a few words. Damn, are you a man? How can it be okay to be so passionate? Zhang Bin looked at Yang Ming inconceivably. Oh yes, I forgot about Lan Ling. That girl is really good. You have her, so naturally you won't be interested in others. Zhang Bin's knowing look made Yang Ming feel very funny. He didn't understand his real thoughts at all. Okay, stop guessing. Right, why did you record it? I just recorded it casually. I am going to watch it when I have nothing to do. Zhang Bin said, forget it, delete it. My dad often plays on my computer. If he finds out, he will say that I have nothing to do. Okay, I will help you delete it. I will use your computer to surf the internet for a while. Yang Ming hesitated. Although he knew that it wasn't right to do so, the hatred in his memory still made him hold back. Then you play. I will order something to eat. It's already 12 o'clock. If it wasn't to watch this video, I would have already eaten. Zhang Bin complained, what do you want to eat? Shredded pork with garlic sauce, spicy tofu, a big bowl of rice, and the rest is up to you. Yang Ming said. Okay, I got it. Zhang Bin said as he went to the living room to make a call. Yang Ming quickly found the video that was just recorded. Then he used RAR encryption to cut it into compressed volumes and sent it to several mailboxes that he applied for abroad. Then he used the 360 file shredder to shred the original file. This was the method that Yang Ming learned from the internet after the porn incident. Yang Ming didn't need this thing for the time being, but there was no guarantee that it wouldn't be used in the future, so Yang Ming stored it away. After doing all this, Zhang Bin's voice came from outside the door. Yang Ming, the food is here. Come out and eat. Yang Ming quickly closed the mailbox, went out of Zhang Bin's room and came to the living room. Zhang Bin was really extravagant. The two of them actually ordered 4 dishes for a meal. One was shredded pork with garlic sauce, one was spicy tofu, one was sliced pork, and one was alfalfa persimmon. Zhang Bin didn't want to eat rice. This guy had a very special hobby. He was willing to eat porridge. It was to the point that he would panic if he didn't eat it for 3 days. Porridge was a northern saying. It was actually a corn stubble. For the current people, it was okay to eat coarse grains once in a while, but not many people could bear to eat it every day. Zhang Bin was an exception. The two of them ate very happily. The 4 plates of vegetables were almost finished under the sudden attack of the 2 young men. After the meal, the two of them rested for a while. They played Zhang Bin's new PS3 for a while. Yang Ming looked down on them for a while, saying that he worshipped Japanese products. Zhang Bin had a bitter face. There's no domestic game console. In the afternoon, Zhang Jiefeng's driver came to Zhang Bin's house to pick up Yang Ming and the others to go to Zhang Jiefeng's company. Zhang Bin turned off the computer, tidied up, and went out with Yang Ming. When they saw Zhang Jiefeng, he was obviously drunk. He was talking to a client with a red face. When he saw Yang Ming and Zhang Bin, he nodded and signaled them to sit in the office for a while. Zhang Bin understood and brought Yang Ming to the general manager's office. The last time when Yang Ming came, he didn't come here. This time he had the chance to carefully look at Zhang Jiefeng's office. Zhang Jiefeng's office was very simple. It wasn't as luxurious as the legendary CEO's office. Maybe Zhang Jiefeng's business wasn't big enough, but he was already a big boss that Yang Ming had seen before. At this time the office door was pushed open. A very beautiful woman walked in. Chapter 131. It was undeniable that the person who came was a very elegant woman. She was beautiful and dignified, exuding a mature aura. Zhang Bin couldn't help but frown. It wasn't a pleasant thing to see a beautiful woman in his father's office. Yang Ming saw the person and was stunned. The woman saw Yang Ming and was stunned. Both of them were wondering why the other person would appear here. Yes, this woman was Xiaoqing. She was the woman who Yang Ming saw her underwear in the bookstore and then met again on the bus. Is President Zhang here? Although Xiaoqing was puzzled, she still asked. President Zhang? Why are you looking for him? Zhang Bin looked at the woman with some dissatisfaction. Obviously he thought Xiaoqing was the woman beside his father. I had an appointment with him this afternoon. I didn't see anyone outside, so I came in by myself. Xiaoqing explained. No one outside? That's not right. My dad is meeting a client outside. Zhang Bin thought the woman's words were an excuse. Oh, it's young Master Zhang. There really isn't anyone outside. Xiaoqing shook her head and had some doubts. She also saw that Zhang Bin was hostile to her. Could it be that he knew about the grudge between Yang Ming and me? But that wasn't a grudge. It had been resolved a long time ago. No one. Although Zhang Bin didn't believe it, he still walked to the door of the office and looked outside. Sure enough, as Xiaoqing said, there was no one in the reception room outside the company. Zhang Bin felt a bit strange. After he came back, he called his father. Dad, where are you? Someone in the office is looking for you. Looking for me? Who? A woman. Who knows who she is? Is she your lover? Zhang Bin whispered. Last time, Zhang Bin was looking for a prostitute, which led to the loss of Yang Ming's imperial jade. This made Zhang Bin very upset. Since Zhang Bin was young, Yang Ming was his only close friend. So he didn't want to hurt their relationship because of this. Although Yang Ming didn't say anything, Zhang Bin didn't feel good. When he saw Xiaoqing this time, he thought that she was his father's lover. Seeing that his father didn't learn his lesson, he was a little annoyed. Although Zhang Bin's voice was low, it was still heard by Xiaoqing and Yang Ming. Xiaoqing was stunned and so was Yang Ming. Their gazes collided and Xiaoqing blushed. Xiaoqing didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Do I look like a mistress? However, the more he explained, the more troublesome it would be. He might as well pretend that he didn't hear anything. Zhang Jiefeng would understand when he arrived. Zhang Bin. Yang Ming saw that Xiaoqing was embarrassed, so he whispered a reminder to Zhang Bin. What's wrong? Zhang Bin asked. I know her. She shouldn't be your dad's. Yang Ming explained in a low voice. It was fine if he didn't explain. Once he did, Xiaoqing's face became redder. When Zhang Bin was talking on the phone, she could pretend that she didn't hear anything. Now there were only 3 of them left in the office and their voices were clear. Xiaoqing couldn't pretend that she didn't hear anything. Yang Ming, why are you here? Xiaoqing had to change the topic and greeted Yang Ming. Sister Qing, I am Zhang Bin's classmate. He's Uncle Zhang's son. Yang Ming said with a smile. Sister Qing, why are you here? Of course I'm here to buy something, hee. Xiaoqing paused as she said this. She meant to point out that her purpose of coming here wasn't what Zhang Bin thought. Right, you said that you were going to participate in a competition. Are you back? Asked Yang Ming. Yeah, I just came back 2 days ago. My father's birthday is coming soon. I'm here to choose a birthday gift for my father. Xiaoqing said with a smile. So that's how it is. Yang Ming nodded. Zhang Bin listened to the conversation between Xiaoqing and Yang Ming and realized that he had misunderstood. He smiled embarrassedly. So, at this time Zhang Jiefeng pushed the door and came in. Sorry, I just brought a customer to the warehouse. I didn't expect you to come to the company. Hello, President Zhang. Xiaoqing nodded to the person who came in. How is the thing I mentioned last time? This. Miss Xiao, I'm really sorry. There was a piece of imperial jade that could meet your requirements, but... Zhang Jiefeng glanced at Yang Ming and shook his head. But there was an accident. Accident? What happened? Xiaoqing frowned. President Zhang didn't find a superior imperial jade in Yunnan this time? There was one, but there was an accident. Zhang Jiefeng sighed. The imperial jade was stolen. If that's the case, then forget it. Xiaoqing was a little disappointed. My old man likes to play with this thing when he has nothing to do. I just wanted to show my sincerity. In fact, my old man doesn't lack this piece of imperial jade. I'm really sorry, Miss Xiao. Right, I just received a batch of jade. Do you want to take a look? Zhang Jiefeng had no choice. He originally planned to sell Yang Ming's imperial jade to Xiaoqing, but there was an accident later. This wasn't what he expected. Then forget it. Let's talk about it next time. Xiaoqing shook her head. Jade was too common. It wasn't as rare as imperial jade. It didn't make sense to use it as a birthday gift. My old man went to Yunnan a few days ago, but he didn't get any imperial jade. So Xiaoqing knew my old man's hobby, so she found Zhang Jiefeng's jewelry company. She wanted to get an imperial jade through his connections. If it was a carved imperial jade, it could be bought in Songjiang. But it wasn't easy to find uncarved stones. My old man liked to do it himself, so Xiaoqing was so disappointed. Xiaoqing still had things to do, so she greeted Yang Ming. Then she asked Zhang Jiefeng to contact her if he had any imperial jade. At the entrance, there were 6 security guards that Zhang Jiefeng hired from the security company. Inside the factory, there was a security door that required a card to be swiped. Also at night there was a lock with a key. Zhang Jiefeng found a worker and brought Yang Ming to a safe in the basement of the factory. He pointed at a bag of stones and asked the worker to help him carry it out. Chapter 132. Yang Ming roughly scanned the bag in front of him. He noticed that the imperial jade was still there and the seal wasn't touched. Only then did he feel relieved. Nowadays, some transportation companies weren't trustworthy. They often stole their clients' goods. But for this bag of stones, they probably didn't have Yang Ming's ability. Even if they stole it, it wouldn't be useful. After the bag of stones was moved up, Zhang Jiefeng found 2 workers to polish the stones. I will polish them myself. Yang Ming smiled. Of course, that's what makes it fun. Zhang Jiefeng asked the workers to find a set of tools for Yang Ming. At this time the bag of stones was poured out. Yang Ming pretended to be casual and picked up the stone with the imperial jade. I will help you too. Zhang Bin picked up a stone and held it in his hand. He didn't have anything to do anyway. Zhang Jiefeng chuckled and found a chair to sit at the side. He chatted with the 2 of them. Zhang Bin, you still don't know how to drive. After 2 days you and Yang Ming should find a driving school and learn. Dad, can't you teach me? Why should I register for a driving school? Zhang Bin asked. I'm so busy. How can I have time to teach you? Besides, I didn't graduate from a professional class and I didn't learn systematically. Driving an automatic car isn't a problem, but manual transmission is. How can I teach you? Zhang Jiefeng rejected directly. Besides, a driving school is great. You still have Yang Ming to accompany you. Okay, then you will buy me a car after I finish learning? Zhang Bin nodded. Once you get the book, I will bring you to buy one. Zhang Jiefeng wasn't perfunctory. He had decided to buy a car for Zhang Bin. Then it's a promise. Zhang Bin said happily. Yang Ming, let's go register tomorrow. Tomorrow? Yang Ming thought about it. It was only a matter of time before he bought a car. So why not take the driving test together with Zhang Bin? Yang Ming, in your hand. Zhang Jiefeng glanced at the stone in Yang Ming's hand. Imperial jade. Yang Ming, you got another piece of imperial jade? Oh, this is imperial jade? Yang Ming pretended not to know. He was so shocked that the sandpaper in his hand fell to the floor. Imperial jade. Moreover, the quality is better than the previous one. Zhang Jiefeng widened his eyes and said with his mouth wide open. Damn bro. Are you for real? Zhang Bing was shocked too. Could it be that you got a ring that can increase your luck? How can you have such good luck? How would I know? Yang Ming smiled innocently. How could there be such a good thing? Zhang Jiefeng took the imperial jade in Yang Ming's hand and checked it carefully. He said, based on my estimation, the value of this imperial jade is around 2 million. It's much better than your previous one. In fact, Yang Ming already had an idea in his heart, so he wasn't surprised. However, he still had to put on a show. So he said with surprise, really? I didn't expect it to be a blessing in disguise. If that's the case, then the previous imperial jade is nothing. Even so, Uncle Zhang will still compensate you for the imperial jade. Zhang Jiefeng said. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. After going around in circles, he came back to the original topic. He said that to make Zhang Jiefeng feel at ease. He didn't expect Zhang Jiefeng to raise this issue again. This time Zhang Jiefeng was more careful. After knowing that Yang Ming had an imperial jade in his hand, he quickly took out a password box and put it in. Then he personally drove Yang Ming and Zhang Bin to the bank's safe box to handle the deposit procedures. Currently, the bank was still the safest place in terms of the security system. As for the other stones in the sack, they were simply polished. There were no more imperial jades. However, there were quite a lot of good jades. This made Zhang Jiefeng amazed. When they went to gamble on stones together, the value of Yang Ming's sack of stones was almost comparable to the total value of all his jades. Zhang Jiefeng estimated the value of these jades. They were worth around 300,000. If they were made into handicrafts and accessories, the value would be even higher. These things were worth a lot of money when added together, but they weren't worth much on their own. So they were directly stored in Zhang Jiefeng's underground vault. Zhang Bin wasn't interested in the jewelry industry initially. However, when he saw Yang Ming's 10,000 turned into 2,300,000, he was deeply shocked by the huge profits in this industry. Compared to Yang Ming's stones, Zhang Jiefeng was more willing to see his son like this. Only when you have an interest in an industry can you manage it well. After leaving Zhang Jiefeng's company, Yang Ming's net worth increased by 2 million. However, these were all fixed assets now. They hadn't been converted into money yet. So Yang Ming was still a poor man. After bidding farewell to Zhang Bin, Yang Ming took a taxi to Lan Ling's place. Because he didn't have a pass, Yang Ming told the security guard that he was looking for Lu Weishan. After confirming, Yang Ming was allowed to enter the neighborhood. This kind of management made Yang Ming feel relieved. The current society was very complicated. Lan Ling was a little girl living here alone. It was hard to guarantee that she wouldn't be targeted by people with bad intentions. Now that the neighborhood's security was so tight, Yang Ming didn't have to worry about Lan Ling meeting bad people. To be honest, other than the voodoo incident, Yang Ming was still very fond of Lan Ling from an emotional point of view. Most men were more or less lilicons and older sisters. After having a girlfriend who was around the same age as them, deep in their hearts, they would still want to meet a younger or more mature woman. Yang Ming was this kind of person. Ever since Suya left, Yang Ming's concept of love had changed. As long as he liked it and was happy, it had nothing to do with others. It could be said that Wu Qiren and Zhou Jiejia made Yang Ming a maverick in terms of relationships. He felt that having a few girlfriends at the same time wasn't shameful or shameful. That was his ability. There was no point in being envious. Of course, this was just his imagination. Yang Ming didn't like normal girls. Yang Ming believed that his feelings for Lan Ling were real, but he didn't want Lan Ling to bind him to her side. The voodoo made him very unhappy. As he was thinking, Yang Ming suddenly heard a familiar voice. "Dad, do you think Professor Li can help me get into the school?" It was Wang Jitao's voice. Yang Ming was standing near the entrance of the residential area. Because of the wall, Yang Ming couldn't see the people on the other side. However, Yang Ming had a special ability and could easily see the other side of the wall. On the other side, Wang Jitao was frowning and talking to a very dignified middle-aged man with a square face. It should be about the same. "Professor Li was my and your mom's teacher. He also saw your school's exam results. This time it could be said that you didn't perform well." The middle-aged man said, "Professor Li still has a lot of prestige in the school. Even if your grades are low, he can still let you study at the joint school XX Academy. But the graduation certificate of XX Academy is different from the formal one." Wang Jitao was a bit unwilling. "Be content. You only scored 200 points. The cutoff score of XX Academy is 350 points. The middle-aged man said, "If it wasn't for Professor Li, you probably wouldn't even be able to get into XX Academy. Don't think that your dad can call the shots in the business world. I can't even get involved in the admission of universities. Also, your grades are too low. You didn't even reach the cutoff score for family members. This result is already very good. Besides, aren't you going to take over my job after you graduate? You just need to learn some real knowledge in university. When you graduate, you will be the general manager of the company. Who cares about your qualifications?" After Wang Jitao heard this, he smiled. He thought that his father was right. Why would his family's company care about his qualifications? Study hard after you go to university. Try not to cause any more trouble. You should learn from this incident. Don't be so reckless in the future. You have to plan before you act. For example, if you want to mess with your classmate, you should think of a perfect plan. Look at the rubbish idea that you and Zhang Biao came up with. Not only did you get into trouble, but you also delayed the college entrance exam. The middle-aged man shook his head and said, in the future when you go into business, it will be even more so. Either you hide and don't act or you strike a fatal blow. Yang Ming heard the conversation between the two clearly. Motherfucker, Wang Jitao's father is even more sinister. It seems that I have to be careful in the future. Yang Ming was preparing to leave when he saw a Mercedes-Benz sedan beside him. It was the same car that belonged to Wang Jitao's family. The reason why Yang Ming could recognize it was because Zhang Biao drove this car to and from school several times to pick up Wang Jitao. The car plate was easy to remember. The last digit was 888. Hee, didn't you want to trick me? I'll let you two have a good time. Yang Ming laughed twice and made up his mind. Other than the bad results of the college entrance examination, Wang Jitao was in a good mood these few days. He met a little girl through the internet and saw her picture through QQ Space. He was immediately shocked. How could he be so stupid and give the evidence to others? Although he didn't do anything to him afterward, it delayed his college entrance exam. Therefore, although Wang Jitao still didn't give up on Chen Mingyan, he didn't dare to do anything too overboard. These 2 days he was chatting on the internet when he had nothing to do. He met a girl called Charming Baby in a local dating group. She was the one who was mentioned before. Wang Jitao immediately began to pursue her fiercely. But this Charming Baby was too pure, or she pretended to be pure. Anyway, Wang Jitao tried his best, but the Charming Baby didn't take the bait. Wang Jitao was ready to continue his attack on her today. Yang Ming came to Lan Ling's residence. Lan Ling was watching TV. The room had been cleaned and was shining brightly. This made Yang Ming feel very gratified. How many girls in this era knew how to do housework? He didn't know how good Lan Ling's cooking skills were. Otherwise she would be the best in the kitchen and the bed. Lan Ling saw Yang Ming and ran out happily. She rushed into Yang Ming's arms. Master, you're back? Master? Yang Ming was baffled by what he heard. Yes. Lan Ling nodded. That's what they call me on TV. Yang Ming looked up at the TV in the living room. It was playing a Qing dynasty drama. 7 or 8 women were surrounding an old man and shouting Master. He couldn't help but sweat. People in this era were not used to hearing this name. Master usually has 3 wives and 4 concubines. Do you want me to find a few more Lan Lings? Yang Ming said with a smile. If Master likes it, Lan Ling will of course agree. Lan Ling looked very wronged. Forget it. If the voodoo acts up, I'll be dead. Yang Ming shook his head and carried Lan Ling to sit on the sofa. How is it? Have you gotten used to living here? Seeing the sun when one dies means dying. Some people also call it seeing the sun when one dies. It's a saying from the Northeast. Most people in the 70s and 80s should have heard of this saying, but very few people use it nowadays. For some reason, Old Fish suddenly typed this saying and thought of some things from his childhood. Hehe. Lan Ling wanted to say something, but seeing that Yang Ming took the initiative to change the topic, she didn't say anything else. When she heard Yang Ming's question, she pouted and said, Without you I couldn't sleep well. Also, I kept hearing strange noises on the roof. Scared me. Do you think there's a ghost? There are people living up there. People will definitely make noises when they wake up in the middle of the night. If it's a ghost, it won't make any noises. Besides, where would the ghost come from? Yang Ming smiled and comforted her. Don't think too much. Yang Ming, can you sleep with me tonight? Lan Ling begged. I can't. If I don't go back, my mom will go crazy. I'll just stay on campus in a few days. Yang Ming wanted to stay here too, but he couldn't explain it to his parents. How about I leave after you fall asleep? Don't worry. I'm just joking with you. When we, the Miao people, study voodoo, we often deal with dead people. Why would we be afraid of ghosts? Lan Ling saw that Yang Ming was in a dilemma, so she quickly said, You little rascal, how dare you lie to me? See how I deal with you. Yang Ming thought that Lan Ling was right. Why would she be afraid of ghosts? Even without the voodoo, her father always went out to gamble day and night, leaving her alone at home. If she was afraid, she would have been scared to death. Quickly deal with me, Lan Ling said excitedly, then I'll take off my clothes. As she spoke, she started to take off her little dress. As she took it off, she ran towards the bedroom. I'll wait for you on the bed. Yang Ming was speechless. This Lan Ling, why doesn't she know how to be more reserved? But Yang Ming liked this side of Lan Ling. A girl with this kind of character could easily arouse a man's desire and make him conquer her. But Yang Ming felt that if he went to the bed, wouldn't Lan Ling's plan succeed? No, I have to deal with her. Lan Ling saw that Yang Ming really followed her to the bed and she was very proud. But she didn't notice the smirk on Yang Ming's face. Yang Ming, quickly come and deal with me, Lan Ling said seductively with her eyes closed. Yang Ming originally came to deal with Lan Ling. He felt that Lan Ling wasn't afraid of him at all. This wasn't a good sign. If this continued, not to mention the voodoo, even without the voodoo he would still be firmly in her hands. Once Lan Ling seduced him he would be hooked. This won't do. Men don't live for XX. So Yang Ming changed his usual behavior. He started to learn from the male lead in adult movies and started to touch Lan Ling's body. This was all thanks to Yang Ming watching the teaching film of a guy named Taka Kato. So it worked on Lan Ling very quickly. At that time Yang Ming's purpose of learning this was very simple. He was afraid that one day he would be like his girlfriend. If there wasn't enough foreplay, it would lead to a bad first time. So he learned very carefully. He studied the entire film more than 10 times. Yang Ming was now teasing every inch of Lan Ling's sensitive body. An appropriate amount of foreplay could make a woman fall in love quickly and enter the state quickly. But if there was too much foreplay it wouldn't be so comfortable. At this moment Yang Ming had been teasing for more than half an hour, but he didn't get to the point. Yang Ming, dear husband. Lan Ling only called Yang Ming husband when they were in bed. Yang Ming was also happy with this because it was not very comfortable to be called husband all the time in normal life. Hey, Yang Ming realized that Lan Ling was already sufficiently aroused at this moment. Chapter 134. Lan Ling's entire body glowed with a sparkling red color. Her body kept squirming and from her throat came a kind of enticing moan. Hurry up. Come in. Lan Ling couldn't stand it anymore so she moaned softly. Didn't you want me to teach you a lesson? Yang Ming smiled evilly. He couldn't hold it in anymore, but in order to conquer Lan Ling, this little seductress, Yang Ming was holding it in. I admit defeat. Lan Ling begged for mercy. When Yang Ming heard Lan Ling begging for mercy he got on top of her. Both of them had been holding back their desire for half an hour. Soon they merged into one body and crazily took each other. Yang Ming, don't do this next time. I beg you. After doing it, Lan Ling leaned into Yang Ming's arms. No, I think you're more passionate this time. I was planning to extend the foreplay time next time. Yang Ming said. Extend? Lan Ling exclaimed, don't. I was about to die just now. It's more like you want to die, right? Yang Ming laughed. What? You're so annoying. But now that she thought about it, the feeling was really different. It was really uncomfortable to hold it in. The two of them lingered on the bed for a long time. Yang Ming looked at the time. It was already 6 o'clock in the evening. His parents were about to get off work and go home. Yang Ming also had to go back. Yang Ming took out the wallet of Huang Mao that he cheated today. He took out more than half of the banknotes and gave it to Lan Ling without counting. There are a lot of small stores around here. There are also a lot of snacks. You should buy something yourself. I'm sorry, little Ling Ling. I can't accompany you. It's okay. If you have something to do you can go first. I haven't finished the food I bought yesterday. Lan Ling said, you don't need to spend so much money, right? Anyway, it's not mine. Just take the flowers. Yang Ming thought of the unlucky Huang Mao again and couldn't help but secretly laugh. Yang Ming walked out of the corridor. He hesitated for a moment before he turned around and walked towards Lu Weishan's house. Lu Weishan was writing an invitation when he saw that it was Yang Ming. He happily invited him to sit down. After his son went missing 6 years ago, Lu Weishan liked to invite young people over to his house to make up for his son's absence. Elder Lu, I'm going to Lan Ling's place so I came to visit you. Yang Ming sat down on the sofa and said, "Okay, old woman, go and pack up the invitations. I'll talk to little Yang for a while." Lu Weishan instructed his wife. Lu Weishan's wife nodded and went to work. Elder Lu, why did you write an invitation? What's the good news? Yang Ming felt a little strange. Could it be that your son is back? Sigh. It's good that he's back. Lu Weishan shook his head. I won't hide it from you. My son suddenly disappeared with his bride on the eve of his wedding 6 years ago. Disappeared? Yang Ming was shocked. He originally thought that the old man's son had a quarrel and went to another city or another country. He didn't expect him to disappear. Yeah, disappeared. There's no news at all. The two of them just disappeared into thin air. Lu Weishan shook his head. I'm sorry, Elder Lu. I brought up your sad story. Yang Ming was a little embarrassed. It's okay. It's been so long. The sadness has passed. Life still has to go on, right? Lu Weishan smiled bitterly. Yang Ming nodded and didn't say anything. He didn't expect that as a famous person in the country he had such a sad past. Yang Ming didn't ask about why he didn't look for them. Because with Elder Lu's identity he must have used a lot of social connections to look for them. In the end he couldn't find them. As for the invitation, my birthday is next month. I didn't want to do it, but some friends and students insisted. I had no choice but to write an invitation. Lu Weishan pointed at the invitation on the table and said, if you're free you should come. There are many professors in our school. It's good for you to know them. It's not good for a young person like me to go, right? Yang Ming was a little hesitant, but this was a good idea. If he was familiar with the people in the school, it would be easier for him to find people to help him if he failed a class. It's not a big deal. My goddaughter will come too. There are also some students. They're all young people. Lu Weishan waved his hand and said, it's settled. I'll call you when the time comes. Then I'll accept your invitation. Yang Ming smiled and nodded. He was secretly thinking about what kind of birthday gift to give Lu Weishan. Yang Ming felt that Lu Weishan was a good person. Not only did he give him some advice when he was learning about jade, but he also didn't ask for his money when he rented a house. This made Yang Ming feel very grateful. Yang Ming would remember whoever was good to Yang Ming. When the time comes you can just bring people here. You don't have to buy any gifts. I don't lack anything. It's fine as long as you have the intention. Lu Weishan seemed to have seen through Yang Ming's thoughts and directly blocked his way. I know. Yang Ming smiled. At night, Lu Weishan's wife asked Yang Ming to stay for dinner. Yang Ming refused because he was in a hurry to go home. Lu Weishan seemed to feel sorry for him and asked Yang Ming to come often when he was free. Yang Ming nodded in agreement. Before he left, Lu Weishan gave Yang Ming 2 community passes and a Songjiang Industry University meal card. Lu Weishan was afraid that it would be inconvenient for Lan Ling to eat, so he helped her get a meal card. Yang Ming quickly thanked him and felt very touched. When he reached home, Yang's father and mother Yang had just reached home. They were cooking in the kitchen. When they saw Yang Ming, they asked with concern, Big Ming, are you tired from work? Work? Yang Ming immediately reacted. Yesterday he told them that he was going to work at Zhang Jiefeng's company. So he quickly changed his words. Work is good. I like it. It's good. Uncle Zhang didn't say that you were a troublemaker, right? Mother Yang was a little worried. How could that be? I'm doing better than those people. Yang Ming said, maybe I'll get a bonus at the end of the month. Is that so? That's great. Mother Yang saw that her son was successful and was very happy. Big Ming, how much can you earn in a month? Is it enough for you to spend? Yang Dehai asked. Why? Are you still thinking about our son's money? Mother Yang was a little unhappy. Even if it's enough, we can't take it. That's not what I meant. Look at you. Why are you in such a hurry? What I meant was, if it's not enough, we can give our son some extra money. Yang Dehai said awkwardly. Dad, Mom, I think it's enough. A month's basic salary is 3,000 and there's a bonus. Yang Ming thought for a while and said a figure. 3,000. Even so, Yang Dehai still took a deep breath. He had worked in the factory for half of his life and his salary was only 2,000 yuan. His wife worked in the community and her salary was only 800 yuan a month. Their combined salary was only enough to cover his son's monthly salary. Moreover, his son had just entered university. Big Ming, why is it so much? You can't just ask for a random price and make things difficult for your Uncle Zhang. Mother Yang was surprised. Mom, how can it be? Many people can earn 4,000 to 5,000 yuan a month. Yang Ming was telling the truth. Those who were involved in jade carving and polishing had a high business commission. It was easy to earn 4,000 to 5,000 yuan a month. But you just started. They are already familiar with it. Mother Yang said. Dad, Mom, you don't have to worry about it. Uncle Zhang is also a businessman. He won't appoint people by favoritism. Even if I have a good relationship with Zhang Bin, he won't do things that harm the company's interests. Yang Ming explained, it was he who asked me to be there. Really? That's good. Yang Dahai didn't understand the situation. He was relieved after listening to Yang Ming's explanation. Because Yang Ming was working and earning money, the family was very happy at night. Yang Dahai opened 2 bottles of beer and handed one to Yang Ming. He was very clear about Yang Ming's history, so he was very familiar with his drinking capacity. How can you let your son drink? Mother Yang saw Yang Dahai giving Yang Ming a bottle of beer and couldn't help but frown. Big Ming can drink more than me. You know about the past. Yang Dahai waved his hand. Well, let's not talk about the past. Big Ming is going to be a college student soon. I heard that it's normal for college students to drink together. We don't need to restrict him. Right? How could I forget that Big Ming is already an adult? Mother Yang nodded. A bottle of beer was absolutely a small case for Yang Ming. After drinking it, his face didn't turn red and his heart didn't beat fast. After the family finished eating, Yang Ming went back to his room and turned on the computer. He found that there was a missed call and a few new messages on the phone on the desk. The call was from Lan Ling Zhangbin. The message was from Lan Ling. The content was that she missed him. Yang Ming replied to Lan Ling's message and told her that he was home and missed her. Zhang Bin's call was ignored. Yang Ming was a typical example of what it means to value a lover over a friend. As for Lan Ling, of course he couldn't abandon her. It would be best if they could coexist peacefully. If they couldn't coexist, it would be good to sneak around. But then again, this was only Yang Ming's dream. The reality was very cruel. Around 10 o'clock, Yang Ming woke up and went to the bathroom in a daze. After washing his face, he turned on his phone. 2 minutes after the phone was switched on, Zhang Bing's call came in again. Yang Ming, you are too shameless. You actually turned off your phone. Zhang Bin's roaring voice came out. Yang Ming subconsciously moved away from the receiver. The 1200 didn't look like much, but the call quality was quite good. Yang Ming quickly lowered the volume. It's out of battery. It turned off automatically. Yang Ming sweated. Isn't this too punctual? I just turned it on and the call came in. I just charged it and your call came in. Hey. I call once every 5 minutes. Zhang Bin said proudly. Yang Ming was completely speechless. This guy really has perseverance. If he had this kind of spirit in learning, Zhang Bin wouldn't have to pay for XX college. Wait for me, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Yang Ming also felt a little embarrassed, so he went out and took a taxi and went straight to Zhang Bin's house. Zhang Bin had been waiting for a long time. As soon as Yang Ming pressed the doorbell of the security door downstairs, Zhang Bin immediately opened the door. The speed was almost as fast as the automatic. If people didn't know, they would think that Yang Ming pressed the button to open the door. Yang Ming went upstairs. Zhang Bin had already opened the door and waited. I despise you, it's already 10 o'clock. Do you know how I spent the past 2 hours? Zhang Bing's face was full of resentment. Don't, I will misunderstand what bad habits you have. Yang Ming felt a chill. Come on, don't pretend. Zhang Bin found a pair of slippers for Yang Ming. I have a few cars in mind, you can help me. Is there a need to be so anxious? Although Yang Ming said so, he also understood Zhang Bin's behavior. Of course. Zhang Bin pulled Yang Ming to the computer and pointed at the cars on the screen. Look, Beijing Hyundai Elantra Yudong Mazda 6 Volkswagen Polo. Damn, I don't understand. You let me look at the appearance. You have to go to the forum to ask about the performance. Yang Ming looked at the cars that Zhang Bin pointed at and said, that's true. Let's go to the driving school first. Zhang Bin said, the driving school doesn't matter. You have a car at home. What are you afraid of? You can ask your dad's driver to practice with you for 2 days. Then you can be on the road. Yang Ming said indifferently, I checked on the internet. The internet said that the Flying Fish Driving School has a good reputation, and it's not far from here. Let's go in the afternoon? Zhang Bin suggested. Okay, then it's settled. Zhang Bin nodded. Let's go out for lunch? Forget it. Let's order. So hot today. Let's go out in the afternoon when it's cooler. Yang Ming was deeply affected when he just left home. Now the sweat on his body hadn't dried yet. That's fine. How about the restaurant from last time? Zhang Bin asked. Anything is fine. Yang Ming wasn't picky. Then you play on the computer yourself. I'll call to order the food and ask my dad's driver if he's free to pick us up in the afternoon. Zhang Bin said. Zhang Bin turned and went to the living room. Yang Ming played with Zhang Bin's computer idly. After closing all the web pages, Yang Ming found that Zhang Bin's QQ was still open. So he curiously looked at Zhang Bin's netizen. The charming baby from yesterday was still online. Yang Ming opened her QQ space. The design of the space was quite beautiful. Yang Ming looked at her diary. She wrote some girly articles. Yang Ming didn't like it very much. So he clicked on the photo album. Seeing the refreshed photo, Yang Ming was sure that this person was Zhou Jiejie. It was undeniable that Zhou Jiejie was a beauty. The photos in the album were also unusually pure. It was difficult to associate it with the debauched video from yesterday. Yang Ming clicked on a few photo albums with interest and looked at them. There were photos of life and celebrities. But no matter which one, it was very eye-catching. What Yang Ming didn't understand was that such a beautiful woman, did she need to make a passionate video? In reality, she could just find a man and he would fall under her skirt with a little trick. But this had nothing to do with him. This hateful woman could do whatever she wanted. Even if she was a prostitute, Yang Ming wouldn't feel anything wrong with it. Closing the album, Yang Ming opened the chat history of the charming baby. He wanted to see how Zhang Bin hooked up with her. Obviously, Zhang Bin knew her from an alumni association website. Zhang Bin also graduated from Red Flag High School, but he wasn't in the same class as Yang Ming. So he saw that Zhou Jiejie was beautiful in the alumni association and added her as a friend. At first, charming baby, Zhou Jiejie didn't care much about Zhang Bin. But after knowing that Zhang Bin was also from Red Flag High School, Zhou Jiejie became a little enthusiastic about Zhang Bin. But in the first few days, the two talked about some indifferent things. It was nothing more than the teachers of Red Flag High School, the snacks at the school gate, and a hated teaching director. Later, Zhou Jiejie asked which class Zhang Bin was in. Zhang Bin actually said that he was in class 4. Class 4 was Yang Ming's class, and it was also Zhou Jiejie's class. Yang Ming cursed. Wouldn't this lie be exposed immediately? Sure enough, Zhou Jiejie immediately asked Zhang Bin what his real name was. Yang Ming found it funny, so he continued to scroll down the chat. When he saw what Zhang Bin said, he couldn't help but widen his eyes. Yang Ming looked at the chat history on the screen in front of him with a strange expression. He slapped his thigh and scolded, "Zhang Bin, your uncle." Chapter 136. Zhang Bin shamelessly told Zhou Jiejie that his name was Yang Ming. Yang Ming was completely enraged. "Zhang Bin, aren't you harming me?" How could Zhou Jiejie not know Yang Ming? Yang Ming's forehead was sweating as he continued to look at the chat history. Zhang Bin continued to ask Zhou Jiejie for her real name. Zhou Jiejie actually said that her name was Suya. But unfortunately, Zhang Bin didn't know Suya at all, and Yang Ming didn't mention it to him. So Zhang Bin praised, "Good name." After that, Zhou Jiejie's attitude towards Zhang Bin was obviously different. She was much more enthusiastic than before. When Zhang Bin asked for the sex video, Zhou Jiejie didn't refuse. Yang Ming was a little confused about what Zhou Jiejie was planning. She wouldn't forget who Yang Ming was, right? From her answer, Suya, she didn't forget. But what made Yang Ming puzzled was that Zhou Jiejie knew that he hated her, yet she still wanted to play the sex video with him. Wasn't she afraid that he would spoil her? Moreover, it was under the circumstances that he knew that he was Yang Ming. Yang Ming was a little confused. Zhang Bin's online name was Big Bin. It was reasonable for her to call him Big Brother Bin that day, but she still called him Big Brother Bin when she knew that he was Yang Ming. Wasn't this a bit inexplicable? But who knew what Zhou Jiejie was thinking? What did she think have to do with him? The most important thing was that Yang Ming was going to explode. "Zhang Bin, your uncle, you come here," Yang Ming shouted. "What?" Zhang Bin walked over inexplicably. "What? Look at it yourself. Who allowed you to use my name to chat with others?" Yang Ming pointed at the computer screen and said angrily. "Hey, it's nothing." Zhang Bin was a little embarrassed. "Fuck, you are too filthy." Yang Ming wanted to vent his anger, but Zhang Bin was his buddy, so there was no need to fall out with him. "I'm sorry, boss. I told her your name in a moment of desperation." Zhang Bin scratched his head. In fact, this was quite normal. Yang Ming remembered that he once met a dinosaur girl online. She kept asking for his name. Yang Ming casually typed Zhang Bin and got it over with. Yang Ming waved his hand and closed the chat history. Then he blacklisted Charming Baby and said to Zhang Bin, "Don't contact this person in the future. If you didn't say it, I wouldn't have contacted her. This bitch was so flirtatious yesterday afternoon." When I talked to her at night, she didn't care about me. Zhang Bin said angrily. I wanted to video call her again, but she scolded me. Fuck you, bitch. Yang Ming didn't know what was going on. He was too lazy to think about it. Zhou Zhejia could do whatever she wanted. It had nothing to do with him. He just didn't want Zhang Bin to use his name to have anything to do with her. For today's lunch, Zhang Bin ordered 2 cold noodles, a plate of dried tofu in chili oil and a plate of marinated beef. After Yang Ming took a bite, he praised. The taste was so authentic. Zhang Bin, the restaurant downstairs has good culinary skills. Yang Ming said while eating. Of course, we don't feel anything when we order. If you eat downstairs, there may not be a seat at lunchtime. Zhang Bin said, is there any delicious snack bar near your home? You also know that I don't have much spare money. How can I afford to eat in a restaurant? I will go back in 2 days. There should be some. Yang Ming and Zhang Bin didn't need to hide. They were classmates for 3 years. Who didn't know each other? Zhang Bin didn't mean to make fun of Yang Ming. This time you are rich. You will have to treat me in the future. Do you still need to say it? Oh yeah, you have to pay for the driving lessons first. I will take out my bank card and return it to you. After Yang Ming came back from his trip, he kept his bank card in the drawer. He didn't need it at the moment, so he didn't bring it with him. Of course, it's not a problem. How much money is that? I think my dad will pay for it. Zhang Bin said indifferently. In the afternoon, Zhang Jiefeng's driver came to pick them up. They went to Flying Fish Driving School together. The Flying Fish Driving School was not considered old. It was only established in 2000, but it was very famous in Songjiang City. Although it was a second-class driving school, the facilities inside were very complete. There was a sealed cement driving field and a simulated test environment. Zhang Bin already knew about it on the internet. But after seeing it with his own eyes, he was relieved. Some people said that driving school was just a way to get a license, but Yang Ming thought that it was good to learn more. Yang Ming felt that the environment here was good. After discussing with Zhang Bin, they went through the admission procedures. The tuition fee was 2,980 yuan. After they submitted their photo and ID, the staff helped them with the admission procedures. Just like what Zhang Bin said, Zhang Jiefeng had already prepared the learning fees. He asked the driver to pay for it. Since it was the elder's intention, Yang Ming couldn't reject it. Moreover, if he insisted on paying himself, it would be difficult for the driver. The first day of class was mainly to receive theoretical training. There were many instructors in Flying Fish Driving School. Most of them were one-on-one. So for people like Yang Ming, they could learn as they pleased. Since there were many cars and a large space, they could only teach. Among the jade stones that Yang Ming brought back from Yunnan this time, many of them were of good quality. Jade stones were weird. Jade stones with poor quality could be sold for a good price through fine polishing and carving. But jade stones with good quality, if they were polished and carved, it would devalue its value. The reason was simple. If the sculptor's standard couldn't improve, the jade stone would be ruined. Therefore, jade of good quality would not need to be processed after it had been roughly polished. This way, the jade could be sold directly to those who truly understood jade, or the content of the engraving could be customized according to the wishes of the real buyer. In Yang Ming's batch of jade, there were at least 3 or 4 pieces of this kind of top-grade jade. Zhang Jiefeng's batch also had 1 or 2 pieces. As for these pieces of jade, Zhang Jiefeng only took pictures and deposited them in the bank. The rest of the jade stones weren't ideal, so they were processed into jade pendants, bracelets, and other handicrafts according to the plan. However, this kind of mid-quality, well-processed jewelry was also the most popular. Although the profit margin was not particularly high, the goods moved very quickly. In addition to the customization service, many people could pre-order their favorite patterns. So when this batch of jade stones was on the shelves, half of them were sold. Zhang Jiefeng felt guilty because he lost Yang Ming's jadeite. So he sold Yang Ming's jadeite first. Anyway, Yang Ming's jadeite wasn't a lot, so they were sold out quickly. Even these middle-quality jadeite were sold for more than 260,000 yuan. Zhang Jiefeng didn't plan to ask for the crafting fee and service fee. This time he was helping Yang Ming. Moreover, Zhang Jiefeng didn't lack this money. Compared to Yang Ming's jadeite, Zhang Jiefeng's gambling pieces were inferior. Yang Ming's jadeite was sold for more than 200,000 yuan. Zhang Jiefeng's jadeite quantity was more than 10 times that of Yang Ming's, but it could only be sold for about 200,000 yuan. Because there were too many bad jadeite, even if it was processed it wouldn't be of good quality. So Zhang Jiefeng sold it to the small jade merchants at 10 yuan per piece. In other words, Zhang Jiefeng's trip to Liang Jinya's, excluding the cost of 100,000 yuan, excluding the labor and transportation, he only earned 200,000 yuan. This was the result of Yang Ming giving him 2 good jadeite pieces. If he didn't give the 2 good jadeite pieces to the bank, this trip would only make a profit of 100,000 yuan. So, jade gambling wasn't easy to earn money. Most people couldn't earn much from jade gambling. At the same time, Zhang Jiefeng couldn't help but sigh at Yang Ming's good luck. He was so lucky. 10,000 yuan immediately increased by 26 times. This didn't include the best quality jadeite and the 4 good jadeite pieces. Yang Ming had been learning from Zhang Bin at the driving school these few days. He left early and returned late every day. He looked like a worker, so Yang Ming's parents didn't have any doubts. Especially when they saw Zhang Jiefeng's chauffeur driving him back, they didn't have any doubts. As for Lan Ling, Yang Ming tried his best to spend time with her. Although Lan Ling was very clingy, she knew that Yang Ming had his own things to do. Every time after they were together she hoped that Yang Ming would stay, but she never said it out loud. Zhang Jiefeng transferred the money from the sale to Yang Ming's bank account. At this point Yang Ming was considered to have a small fortune, at least among his peers, who said that the university was full of rich kids. That was a fantasy novel. For someone like Yang Ming having a few 100,000 yuan, he was considered rich. However, Yang Ming had decided to take the initiative, so he reacted quickly. His face returned to normal. Wang Jitao, it's you. Why? You haven't seen me for half a month and you have already forgotten your brother? Wang Jitao was stunned. What happened to Yang Ming? Did he take the wrong medicine? He has never been so warm to me before, right? Could it be that I am hallucinating? Wang Jitao really wanted to give himself a big slap to check if he was in a dream. You also learned to drive? Yang Ming saw that Zhang Biao didn't come today and Wang Jitao drove himself, so he asked. Wang Jitao pinched his arm fiercely. It was very painful. It seemed that he wasn't dreaming. Wang Jitao's reaction was fast, but since Yang Ming didn't want to be hostile, then Wang Jitao didn't need to be hostile with him on the spot. Yeah, I already have a driver's license. My dad has already given me the car. I will take you for a ride when I am free. That's good. Yang Ming nodded. How was it? How was the college entrance examination? Is there any problem with Tsinghua University? When this was mentioned, Wang Jitao felt aggrieved. Shouldn't I be admitted to Tsinghua University? At least I can get into Nankai University and Fudan University, but I didn't expect to be reduced to the point where I have to pay for a joint school. Don't mention it. I had a bad cold on the day of the exam. As a result, I didn't perform well. I only got around 200 points. Wang Jitao smiled bitterly. I can't even get into a 3rd division university. When the results came out on the 25th, the score could be checked through the score inquiry system. Yang Ming knew that he could definitely get into Songjiang Industry University, so he didn't even bother to check. What a pity, Yang Ming said with regret. He scolded in his heart. What do you mean by retribution? You are a typical example. It's nothing. But Yang Ming, your results must be good, right? Which university are you going to apply to? Wang Jitao wasn't happy in his heart. Isn't it because of you that I didn't perform well? I applied to Songjiang Industry University. Zhongbin. I am going to the joint school of Songjiang Industry University and XX College. Yang Ming said, what about you? Are you going to repeat a year? Hey, that's a coincidence. The 3 of us are schoolmates again. I am also going to the joint school of Songjiang Industry University and XX College. Wang Jitao said in his heart, I am going to the same school as you again. I am so fucking unlucky. Your results are also going to the joint school? Isn't that a pity? You are different from Zhang Bin. You have the ability but you didn't perform well. I believe that if you repeat next year, it won't be a problem for you to go to Tsinghua University or Peking University. Yang Ming's intention was to make fun of Wang Jitao. No matter how good the ability was, it was useless if the score couldn't go up. But these words were different in Wang Jitao's ears. This guy thought that Yang Ming was sincerely comforting him. Although it was somewhat inexplicable, he said very sincerely, thank you for your concern, but I will inherit my family's business in the future. It doesn't matter where I go to school. It's just a life experience. Hey, I was waiting for you to say that. Yang Ming smiled in his heart. If you really go to Beijing, I won't be willing. I am ready to take revenge on you. The closer you are to me, the easier it is for me to do it. If you were to run away, who would reimburse me for my travel expenses? That's right. You and Zhang Bin's family have the same idea. Zhang Bin's family also has the same idea. Yang Ming nodded. Zhang Bin, I didn't know that your family is also rich. Chrysler 300C. Although it's not as valuable as my Mercedes-Benz, it's not bad. Wang Jitao patted Zhang Bin's shoulder and smiled. Idiot, Zhang Bin scolded in his heart. Don't you just want to show off in front of me? However, Zhang Bin didn't say anything on the surface. Who asked Wang Jitao's family to be really rich? The three of them came to the long-lost classroom together. When they met their former classmates, everyone greeted each other. Those with good grades were everywhere to inquire about other people's grades. Those with bad grades could only sit in the corner and sigh. However, in general, the atmosphere in the classroom was quite harmonious because there was no tension before the college entrance examination. After the adjustment of the holidays, everyone looked refreshed. When they arrived at the classroom, Yang Ming and Wang Jitao separated. Wang Jitao belonged to the kind of person who had a good relationship with others. He was also a class cadre, so he became the focus of everyone when he entered the classroom. Yang Ming belonged to the ranks of the bad students. Although his grades improved quickly, his notoriety was spread far and wide. Few people were willing to talk to him. Yang Ming, Qin Mengyan is sitting there. Don't you want to interact with her? Zhang Bin pointed at Qin Mengyan, who wasn't far away. Interact with what? Yang Ming smiled bitterly. He really didn't know what to do, but his subconscious didn't intend to give up Qin Mengyan. Otherwise, he wouldn't have applied to Songjiang Industry University. With Yang Ming's current grades, entering Beijing wasn't a big problem. I really don't understand you. Bro, are you doing this because of Lan Ling? Are you really that loyal? Zhang Bin asked with some disbelief. Don't tell me you don't like Qin Mengyan? Don't think too much. It's not what you think. Shiliai. Yang Ming just finished his sentence when he saw Qin Mengyan standing behind Zhang Bin. Qin Mengyan saw Yang Ming coming to the classroom just now. She was very happy, so she sat there waiting for Yang Ming to talk to her. But after waiting for a long time, Yang Ming still didn't come. Qin Mengyan was anxious. Is he still angry with me? He won't be so petty, right? A girl is reserved, but that's only when her heart hasn't really fallen in love with someone. Once she had someone in her heart, her reserved exterior would be torn apart. Qin Mengyan hated Yang Ming very much. Why didn't I see you being such a male chauvinist before? When you were pursuing me, you were so obedient. Now that you got me, you didn't care about me at all. It's so annoying. But being angry was just being angry. Qin Mengyan's heart couldn't give up this feeling. After hesitating, she decided to take the initiative to find Yang Ming, just like the time when she asked him a question. So Qin Mengyan got up and walked to Yang Ming. When she heard Zhang Bin ask Yang Ming, "Do you not like Qin Mengyan?" Qin Mengyan's heart immediately tightened. Chapter 138. At this moment she finally understood how important Yang Ming was to her. Yeah, I fell in love with Yang Ming long ago. It was just that I didn't know how to cherish him when he was by my side. Now that we were apart, Qin Mengyan felt how happy she was with Yang Ming. Although Yang Ming occasionally made some unreasonable requests, now that I think about it, normal couples should be like this. When Qin Mengyan heard Yang Ming say, "It's not what you think," she finally breathed a sigh of relief. "Mengyan, are you looking for me?" Although Yang Ming was embarrassed, he couldn't let a girl stand in front of him, right? "Yang Ming, I heard that you and Zhang Bin went to Yunnan. When did you come back?" Qin Mengyan tried to make her expression normal. "I have been back for more than half a month." Yang Ming scratched his head. When Zhang Bin saw Qin Mengyan coming over, he quickly found a chair for Qin Mengyan and let her sit next to Yang Ming. Yang Ming was in the last row. He had a small independent table. There was no one next to him, so it was convenient for Qin Mengyan to sit here. "Then why didn't you contact me when you came back?" Qin Mengyan's heart tightened. "Didn't you know that I was looking for you?" "I didn't go online." Yang Ming smiled. How did you know that I found you online?" Qin Mengyan deliberately pretended to smile and looked at Yang Ming casually. But her heart was very uncomfortable. Yang Ming obviously realized that he made a mistake. It wasn't easy to lie in front of a smart girl. Thus he changed the topic and said, I've been learning how to drive with Zhang Bin at the driving school. I've been so busy. Okay, I don't blame you. Qin Mingyan's tone was like that of a resentful wife. If it was before, he would have started to let his imagination run wild again, but now his heart couldn't help but sink. Alright, let's not talk about this anymore. Qin Mingyan saw that Yang Ming's mood was not very good, so she took the initiative to change the topic. Which university are you going to apply to? Don't you know which university I apply for? Yang Ming gritted his teeth and steeled his heart. Motherfucker, I've never been afraid of anyone since I was young. Wasn't it just a heart voodoo? To hell with his grandmother. Flirting with girls is a great pleasure in life. If this pleasure is gone, what's the point of life? Qin Mingyan saw that Yang Ming had returned to his original glib tone. She couldn't help but be happy. How would I know? You scored 697. 5 points in the college entrance exam. It's more than 10 points higher than me. Your score is enough to enter the capital. You know my score. Yang Ming was stunned. It seemed that Qin Mingyan was still silently paying attention to him. He was excited. Your score is enough to enter the capital, right? I already said that I don't want to be too far away from home, so I definitely applied to Songjiang Industry University. Qin Mingyan shrugged and said, But your score is considered to be one of the top in our school. I heard that the highest score in Songjiang City this year is 709 points. Oh, you are just tricking me. Zhang Bin and I have already decided to go to Songjiang Industry University together. Yang Ming smiled and said, We are schoolmates again. Zhang Bin. He is going to Songjiang Industry University? Qin Mingyan was stunned. She knew about Zhang Bin's score. He was always at the bottom of the class. He was on par with the original Yang Ming. I didn't mean to be sarcastic. Don't misunderstand. Qin Mingyan was afraid that Zhang Bin would have some thoughts after hearing it, so she quickly added a sentence. Of course he couldn't pass the normal exam, but he is in the joint school of Songjiang Industry University and XX College. We usually have classes together, but there are some differences in the graduation certificates. Yang Ming explained. I know the one you are talking about. Qin Mingyan nodded. That's great. We are classmates again. After a while, the people in the classroom were almost there. The class teacher, Teacher Li, also came. Today, most of the students' seats were mixed together. Among the students, there were their own small circles. Because today was no longer a high school life, there was no need to be so restrained. Qin Mingyan didn't return to her seat. He still sat next to Yang Ming. Qin Mingyan had thought it through these days. Since she decided to be with Yang Ming, why did she have to be so secretive? Teacher Li glanced at the students who sat together in the classroom and didn't say anything. The college entrance examination was over. Teacher Li wouldn't ask for these small things. Presumably, everyone has known the college entrance examination results, right? It is now the information age. It is not like the past where you have to come to school to check your score. Teacher Li smiled. There are many channels to know the results. You can check it by phone or online. I won't say much. First of all, I would like to congratulate those who have achieved ideal results. Also, for those who didn't do well, don't be discouraged. Education is very open now. There are many joint ventures between famous universities. If you can't do well, you can still repeat your studies. I just hope that you can find a suitable path for yourself. I have a recruitment brochure here. Not only are there public universities, but there are also some private universities and joint ventures. You can refer to it and fill in your application form. It will be sent to everyone together with the application form. Go back and discuss with your parents. Fill it in and send it to me. Teacher Li divided the recruitment brochure, college entrance examination application guide, and the application form into several stacks and let the students in each group pass them down. Most of the students had already chosen the university they wanted to apply to. Most of them were those with good grades and those with bad grades. Those with good grades had a goal before the college entrance examination. Those with bad grades had basically found their own place during this period of time. Only those with average grades were wavering and hesitating. Yang Ming and Qin Mingyan belonged to those with good grades. Zhang Bin belonged to those with good prospects. Therefore, when the recruitment brochure was given to the three of them, it was like a piece of scrap paper. Of course, this kind of thing was most valuable to those who were wavering. Teacher Li also talked about some things to take note of when filling in the application form. These were things that everyone had to pay attention to. Yang Ming and Qin Mengyan also took notes very carefully. When all the important matters were finished, Teacher Li said, "The intense college entrance examination is over. A few teachers in the third year of high school have discussed in private and are preparing to organize a camping trip. Everyone is willing to participate. Wang Jitao will count the names in a while. Of course, we can't go too far. The specific camping location will be West Star Mountain in Litong County of Songjiang City. The round-trip fare is 20 yuan. The other activities will be decided when we reach the destination." When Teacher Li's voice fell, there was a burst of discussion in the classroom. In fact, everyone had long wanted to have such an activity. In the past, when they were in their first year of high school, there would be a camping trip in April or May every year. However, the third year of high school was busy studying. Everyone was preparing for the college entrance examination, so the camping trip plan had to be put on hold. Just before Teacher Li came, some of the students who were close to each other were planning to go out and have fun. However, they lacked a unified person to organize it. Yes, Wang Jitao was a good choice as the class monitor. However, because he failed in the college entrance examination, he felt that he lost face and didn't have the interest to organize it. Now that Teacher Li brought it up, it was exactly what everyone wanted. After all, they were students who lived and studied together for 3 years. They had some feelings for each other. Everyone attached great importance to this last group activity, because soon everyone would go their separate ways. A lot of people would go to other universities. In the future, it would be impossible to have such a group gathering with so many people. Although Wang Jitao wasn't in a good mood, at least he had a place to settle down, so he nodded and agreed. "Yang Ming, are you going?" Zhang Bin turned around and asked. Zhang Bin and Yang Ming belonged to the group of poor students. For a provincial key high school like Songjiang No. 4 high school, there weren't many students of this type. There were only 2 or 3 of them in a class. Therefore, the 2 of them didn't fit in with the others. Originally, Yang Ming didn't want to go. He didn't have any relationship with this group of people. However, when he saw Qin Mengyan's eager eyes, Yang Ming nodded and said, "I'm going. Why wouldn't I go? I've been learning how to drive all day. Just treat it as a relaxing time." "Then I'm going too." Zhang Bin had always followed Yang Ming's lead. "Sister-in-law, are you going too?" Zhang Bin suddenly added another sentence. Qin Mengyan was stunned. This title hadn't been mentioned by Zhang Bin for a long time. The last time was when they were watching a movie. At that time, when Zhang Bin called her that, Qin Mengyan was quite dissatisfied. However, when she heard it now, there was a hint of sweetness in her heart. "I'm a class committee member. Of course I'm going." Qin Mengyan almost said, "If Yang Ming is going, of course I'm going too." Fortunately, her reaction was faster. After she finished speaking, she couldn't help but secretly stare at Zhang Bin. "It's all your fault. Why did you call me sister-in-law? You're messing with my thoughts." After explaining the official matters, Teacher Li asked Wang Jitao to start counting the list of people who were going to the camping trip. In the class, except for the students who had already booked a travel agency, the rest of the students signed up for the camping trip. Which student didn't have 20 yuan in their pocket now? Therefore, Wang Jitao directly collected the money for the bus. When he walked to Yang Ming's seat, he saw Qin Mengyan sitting next to Yang Ming. The 2 of them seemed to have a good relationship. He frowned slightly. He was very angry in his heart. The framing incident that he created didn't create any trouble. Instead, he almost got himself involved. Chapter 139. However, on the surface he still said very politely, "Yang Ming, Qin Mengyan, you 2 go too? Go." Yang Ming opened his wallet and took out a 100 yuan bill and handed it to Wang Jitao. He pointed to Zhang Bin and said, "It's for the 3 of us." Now that Yang Ming had become a small amount, Zhang Bin didn't argue with him and let him spend money with peace of mind. However, Wang Jitao watched Yang Ming take out money and found it inconceivable. Hadn't this guy always been extremely poor? Why did he suddenly become generous? Yes, he must want to act cool in front of Qin Mengyan. Don't you like to act cool? Then I'll give you a chance to act cool. When the time comes, I'm afraid you won't be able to act cool. Wang Jitao really had the talent of a young schemer. He instantly thought of an idea to mess with Yang Ming. Although his scheme was immature and flawed in the eyes of many adults, he was considered one of the best among his peers. "Hey, what's wrong, Yang Ming? Have you made a fortune recently?" Wang Jitao flattered. On the surface he was asking Yang Ming, but in fact he was saying, Why are you acting cool when you don't have money? What do you mean by rich? How can my small business compare to yours? How could Yang Ming not hear the sarcasm in Wang Jitao's words? He also replied indifferently. The meaning was obvious. My money was earned by myself. You rely on your family. But Wang Jitao didn't think so. He underestimated Yang Ming's IQ. He thought that Yang Ming was a simple-minded, well-developed idiot. Was Yang Ming an idiot? The answer was no. The reason why Wang Jitao could succeed in framing him at the Heavenly World Hotel was mainly because Yang Ming wasn't cautious enough. To put it bluntly, Yang Ming regarded Wang Jitao as his classmate. He didn't think that Wang Jitao could violate the law to frame him. Yang Ming used to be at the bottom of society, but at that time the way to solve problems was with fists, just like the first time Wang Jitao found Zhang Yuliang to teach him a lesson. The incident at the Heavenly World Hotel made Yang Ming understand that these rich young masters really dared to do anything. It was crazy to a certain extent, so he was really on guard against Wang Jitao. So Wang Jitao naturally took Yang Ming's words as a compliment, and said proudly, "Yes, but I have to wait until I graduate from university to inherit the family business. At that time, if you can't find a job, it's just a matter of a word from me. I can arrange a manager for you." "Is that so? Then I have to thank President Wang," Yang Ming said lightly. He thought, wait for you to inherit the family business? At that time, whether your family's Xiongfeng group exists or not is still a matter. In 3 years, Yang Ming still couldn't do anything, then it would be a waste of the magical glasses that God gave him. Well said. Wang Jitao didn't know that Yang Ming was thinking about how to kill him, and thought that Yang Ming was sincerely loyal to him. "Oh, right, after school, let's go to the supermarket to buy some things. I have a car." "Hee, no need, Zhang Bin also has a car. How can I trouble the class monitor?" Yang Ming smiled and rejected Wang Jitao's good intentions. Although Yang Ming didn't think about how to deal with Qin Mengyan, but even if he didn't, he couldn't let Wang Jitao take advantage of it. In Yang Ming's subconscious, Qin Mengyan was already his private property. Wang Jitao was rejected, so naturally he couldn't shamelessly follow. This was the difference between him and Yang Ming. If it was Yang Ming, he would definitely follow with a clear conscience. A tree without bark will definitely die, and a shameless person is invincible. On the way to the supermarket, Yang Ming and Qin Mengyan sat in the back of the car. Zhang Bin, the third wheel, had a "I'm the driver, it's none of my business" look, which made Yang Ming and Qin Mengyan laugh. Although the car was spacious, Yang Ming and Qin Mengyan tacitly sat very close to each other. Smelling Qin Mengyan's refreshing body fragrance, Yang Ming's heart began to sway again. Most men were impulsive animals when it came to lust. Especially a hot-blooded young man like Yang Ming, his resistance to the opposite sex was very weak. At this moment, Yang Ming really forgot about Lan Ling and forgot about the damn voodoo. He also remembered a month ago the time when he went to the supermarket with Qin Mengyan before the movie. It was also the time when they went to the supermarket and what happened in the movie theater that made a big breakthrough in their relationship. Yang Ming was sure that Qin Mengyan liked him. Otherwise, he wouldn't believe that a girl who didn't have feelings for him would help him hit the airplane in the movie theater. Even if there was the cause of the accidental injury, if their relationship didn't reach that point, there wouldn't be such a result. Moreover, looking at Qin Mengyan's concern for him, Yang Ming was even more convinced of this point. At this moment, Qin Mengyan was also a little restless, her body was stiff. The comfort of the Chrysler wasn't reflected in her body at all. Qin Mengyan was also nervous. "Yeah, I'm not a high school student anymore. I'm going to college soon. Logically, I can fall in love. Then, is Yang Ming and I considered to be in a relationship now?" Yang Ming looked at Qin Mengyan, who was a little blushing very emotionally. He couldn't help but reach out his hand to hold Qin Mengyan's little hand. Qin Mengyan's palm was already sweaty. The moment Yang Ming touched it, Qin Mengyan's body trembled slightly. Although the car was inevitably bumpy on the road, it had to be said that the Chrysler, the model of a luxury business car, did a very good job in the aspect of shock absorption, so Qin Mengyan's reaction naturally didn't escape Yang Ming's discerning eyes. Qin Mengyan's reaction made Yang Ming more excited. If Qin Mengyan obediently let him take advantage of her, Yang Ming would feel that it was meaningless. Now, Qin Mengyan's shy attitude made Yang Ming feel the excitement of first love. The ultimate goal of love wasn't to sleep with the woman. This kind of ambiguous process in love was the most enjoyable. Surprise, joy, and stimulation of the soul were the supreme realm that men and women in love pursued. his union with Lan Ling was a coincidence that was barely satisfactory. Although the two of them developed feelings for each other later on, it was the standard case of sex first, then love. With Lan Ling, this little elf Yang Ming was more of a sensory stimulation. Because the two people had already gone to bed, it was unlikely that they would go back and enjoy the feeling of love again. In front of Yang Ming, Lan Ling was not so shy. Lan Ling always cooperated with Yang Ming's caresses and kisses. Although Yang Ming also enjoyed it very much, there was still something missing between the two people. It was a big regret. Between Yang Ming and Lan Ling, it was more of a warm relationship. They made love crazily, just like a couple who had directly entered the state of passionate love. Qin Mengyan was different. Yang Ming felt his heart beat and a little bit of embarrassment when he was with her now. Holding Lan Ling's hand, Yang Ming only felt very warm. But holding Qin Mengyan's hand, Yang Ming felt a passion that he had never felt before. Qin Mengyan had the same feeling as Yang Ming at the moment. Curiosity, excitement, and a little bit of nervousness. The small hand that was held by Yang Ming was already soaked with sweat. Although the air conditioner was on in the car, Qin Mengyan felt very hot. Yes, very hot. It was so hot that her face was burning. Yang Ming put Qin Mengyan's small hand on his leg and gently played with it. He hooked his finger and scratched the palm of her hand, causing Qin Mengyan's beautiful eyes to turn slightly. But she couldn't help but cooperate with Yang Ming. This kind of little action behind Zhang Bin's back made the two of them very happy. For a while, Yang Ming pinched Qin Mengyan's little finger. For a while, Qin Mengyan tapped Yang Ming's palm with her index finger. However, on the surface, the two looked forward with tacit understanding. Zhang Bin was somewhat inexplicable. What happened to these two people? And this little secret between lovers made Yang Ming and Qin Mengyan's heart full of sweetness. When Zhang Bin saw that Yang Ming knew the taxi driver, he was a little embarrassed. Although he was unhappy that the taxi overtook his car, he also learned about traffic law in driving school. He knew that it was his responsibility, so he scratched his head and said, "Brother Kun, my name is Zhang Bin. I'm Big Ming's brother. I'm sorry. Do you want to get your car fixed?" "What's there to fix? It's just some paint. My car is a Jetta, not a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW. It won't affect it." Sun Kun waved his hand and said, "If there's nothing else, let's disperse first. We're blocking the traffic here." That's fine. How about I give you the money for the paint? Do you have time to do it yourself?" Zhang Bin smiled. "Didn't you say so? You and Yang Ming are brothers and I have a good relationship with Yang Ming. Then we're friends. If that's the case, how can I ask you for the 30-50 yuan for the paint? Isn't this the same as slapping my face?" Sun Kun said, "Let's do this first. Let's find an opportunity to get together one day." Yang Ming knew that Sun Kun was a forthright person. He pulled Zhang Bin and said, "Yeah, how can we push each other for a few dozen yuan between brothers?" That's true. Then I'll treat you one day. Let's drink together." Zhang Bin smiled. "That's great." Sun Kun saw that Zhang Bin drove a high-end car, but he didn't look down on the taxi driver. He was very happy. "Yang Ming, you bring your sister-in-law too." "I'll bring your sister-in-law too." Qin Mengyan didn't know that Yang Ming knew Sun Kun. She was a little worried in the car, so she followed. When she heard Sun Kun say to Yang Ming, "Bring your sister-in-law," she couldn't help but be suspicious. "This is Zhang Bin's girlfriend, right? Not bad. You're not inferior to your sister-in-law at all." Sun Kun looked at Qin Mengyan and said to Zhang Bin. Zhang Bin was stunned. Qin Mengyan was stunned. Yang Ming was even more stunned. Seeing that Qin Mengyan frowned slightly and looked at him, Yang Ming thought, this is the end. Lan Ling's matter hasn't been solved yet, and Sun Kun brought Xiaoying into it. "Yang Ming, what's wrong with you guys?" Sun Kun saw that the three of them were looking at each other without saying a word. He was somewhat inexplicable. "Have the two of them never seen your sister-in-law?" "Ugh." Zhang Bin reacted first. He thought that Sun Kun was talking about Lan Ling, so he quickly coughed twice and said, "That? Brother Kun, let me introduce you. This is my sister-in-law, Qin Mengyan, Yang Ming's girlfriend." "Huh?" This time it was Sun Kun's turn to be stunned. What the hell is going on? Did Yang Ming change his girlfriend? And it seems that the current girlfriend doesn't seem to know the existence of the previous one. Or is brother Yang Ming two-timing? Thinking of this, Sun Kun's back was sweating coldly. My broken mouth, why is it so broken? Why did I blabber so much? This is so annoying. It's almost like I'm in debt. That I suddenly remembered that I still have something to do. I have to go first. Let's keep in touch by phone. Sun Kuan knew that he was in trouble, so it was better to leave quickly. After Sun Kuan left, Zhang Bin looked helpless, Yang Ming looked embarrassed, and Qin Mengyan got into the car with a gloomy face. Sister-in-law, don't be angry. Yang Ming actually had no choice. Zhang Bin saw that the two of them didn't speak, so he kindly advised. But this wasn't persuasion, it was simply adding trouble. Yang Ming really wanted to give this guy a good kick. What do you mean by having no choice? This is getting worse. In order to prevent Zhang Bin from saying something idiotic, Yang Ming quickly spoke first. Mengyan, you are wrong. The person that Sun Kun said was Sister Ing. Sister Ing? Qin Mengyan actually really hoped that Yang Ming would explain to her. So, although her face was gloomy and she pretended to be indifferent, her ears stood up like a little rabbit, paying attention to the movements on Yang Ming's side. So when Yang Ming said that, Qin Mengyan subconsciously replied. But she immediately realized that something was wrong. Why did I act so impatient? I just fell in love and was eaten by him. What should I do in the future? It's Zhao Ying, our math teacher. Yang Ming explained. Fuck bro, you are too awesome. You even got Zhao Ying? Like I said, Zhao Ying is too good to you. Zhang Bin was focused on driving, so he subconsciously said the words in his heart. But after he finished speaking, he immediately realized that something was wrong. Qin Mengyan was still sitting behind. Yang Ming was going crazy after listening to Zhang Bin's words. No one will treat you as a mute if you don't speak. Aren't you just looking for trouble for me? Do you think I am not messed up enough? It's over, it's messed up. Yang Ming glanced at Qin Mengyan and he was slightly relieved. Qin Mengyan just looked at him with some suspicion, but she didn't get angry. This meant that Qin Mengyan didn't completely believe Zhang Bin's words. It was no wonder. The story of a teacher and a student getting together was more common only in YY novels. It wasn't that it didn't exist in real life, but it was too rare. Besides, Qin Mengyan also knew that many of the words of boys were exaggerated. So, it was just suspicion, but she didn't take it too seriously. This suspicion was only because Zhao Ying's age was about the same as theirs, and she was also beautiful. Otherwise, Qin Mengyan might not even think about it. Mengyan, in fact, I recognize Zhao Ying as my godsister. During this time, the improvement of my math grades couldn't be separated from her tutoring me every day. You know this matter. Yang Ming thought about it and said, in fact, it's very simple. One night, Sister Ing finished tutoring me and we had some supper at a food stall. Then when we were taking a taxi, we happened to meet Brother Sun Kuan, and he misunderstood us as a couple. Why are you explaining this to me? Qin Mengyan listened to Yang Ming's explanation, and her heart was immediately relieved. After all, what Yang Ming said was very reasonable. It seems that I am a busybody. Then I won't explain next time. Yang Ming laughed. How could he not know Qin Mengyan's thoughts? You dare. Qin Mengyan blurted out, but her face turned red and she changed her words. Whether you say it or not, it has nothing to do with me. Chapter 141. That's what I said. Boss is such a loyal person. How can he do something bad behind his sister-in-law's back? Zhang Bin saw that the atmosphere had eased, so he interrupted. Yang Ming and Qin Mengyan were sweating in their hearts after they heard it. This guy really knows how to change the rudder according to the wind. Zhang Bin parked the car in the free parking space in front of the Songjiang Zinmart supermarket. Although Zhang Bin's skills weren't that good, with the guidance of the security guard, he was able to park the car smoothly. The three of them had 2 trolleys and started to shop crazily. Zhang Bin was a pure carnivore. His eyes were always on the spicy barbecue and canned food. Yang Ming accompanied Qin Mengyan to the preserved fruits, apricots and melon seeds. Buy this. This is more delicious. Yang Ming pointed at the preserved plum that he had eaten in the movie last time. And I also think that this tastes better. Qin Mengyan said as she picked up 2 bags and threw them into the trolley. Another couple who was shopping here passed by them. When they saw Qin Mengyan buying 2 bags of preserved plums, they couldn't help but ask, is this preserved plum delicious? It's okay. We both like it. Qin Mengyan nodded and looked at Yang Ming. Husband, let's buy a few bags too? The girl was a little moved when she heard Qin Mengyan's words. You buy your own food. I don't like to eat this. The boy said with some difficulty. Look at how similar the taste of other couples are. Look at you. You don't like what I like to eat. How are you going to live in the future? The girl was a little angry. But I really don't like to eat these sour things. The boy said helplessly, well, I will eat 2 pieces. That's more like it. The girl nodded happily. She also took 2 bags of preserved plums and put them in the trolley. Yang Ming and Qin Mengyan looked at each other and smiled. The feeling of being praised as a model couple was very heartwarming. You two are so close. Seeing Yang Ming and Qin Mengyan exchanging amorous glances, the girl said with envy. That's right, what lovers needed the most was tacit understanding. The girl felt that she lacked this tacit understanding with her lover, so she shook her head helplessly. Because it was mostly Qin Mengyan who was shopping, Qin Mengyan had been pushing the trolley. However, as more and more things were placed on the trolley, it became difficult for her to push it alone. The trolley in the supermarket was very narrow. If 2 people were to push it side by side, it would be very awkward. Therefore, Yang Ming simply stood behind Qin Mengyan and stretched out his hands to hold the trolley as if he was hugging Qin Mengyan. The ambiguous action of the two made Qin Mengyan blush. Especially when they walked like this, the 2 people's bodies would inevitably touch. In particular, Qin Mengyan's buttocks would always touch Yang Ming's lower body. The 2 private parts kept rubbing, which made both of them have an inexplicable excitement. Men were animals who thought with their lower body. When they encountered a stunning beauty, especially when they were in close contact with Yang Ming, they would always have a physiological reaction. But girls were different. Only when they were with the man they liked they would have sexual urges. Otherwise there would only be disgust. When they came to a shelf, Qin Mengyan stopped to buy some jelly. Yang Ming looked at Qin Mengyan's white nape and began to be restless. One of his hands quietly left the trolley and slowly climbed Qin Mengyan's lower abdomen. A flat abdomen without a trace of fat, which was envied by even women. Qin Mengyan's breathing obviously became rapid. Being touched by the opposite sex so intimately made Qin Mengyan somewhat at a loss. However, Qin Mengyan didn't refuse. This feeling was very strange. There was a feeling of wanting to refuse but also being shy. Yang Ming's hand seemed to have magic, making Qin Mengyan confused. However, this made Qin Mengyan unable to shop in peace. She couldn't help but grumble, okay, stop fooling around. I'm not fooling around. Yang Ming refused to admit it, but his hand moved little by little to the top of her breasts. Pa! Qin Mengyan reached out and slapped away Yang Ming's hand that was sneakily attacking her breasts. This is a supermarket. Do you think it's a movie theater? Yes, Qin Mengyan unconsciously remembered the incident in the movie theater, so she said it. But it seemed to be a bit inappropriate. The movie theater was not okay. So she added, the movie theater is not okay. Yang Ming felt a little funny. Then where is it okay? Anywhere is not okay. Qin Mengyan rolled her eyes at Yang Ming, but she was angry in her heart. You don't know where to go. How can I say it? Yang Ming didn't understand Qin Mengyan's thoughts. He smiled at her lecherously. The ambiguous atmosphere was very good, but at this time Yang Ming's phone rang. Damn Zhangbin, why is he so annoying? Yang Ming muttered as he picked up the phone. He glanced at the caller ID and was stunned. Turned out to be Lan Ling. Qin Mengyan also had the same idea as Yang Ming. He hated Zhangbin. So the innocent Zhangbin suddenly shivered inexplicably. Oh, what's the matter? Yang Ming picked up the phone and said in a low voice. Yes, how could he not have a guilty conscience? Now he was dating Qin Mengyan. Yang Ming, I have that today. Can you help me buy some sanitary napkins? I can't go out. A pile of toilet paper is stuffed down there. It's so uncomfortable. Lan Ling's voice came from the phone. Yang Ming subconsciously put the phone close to his ear. Okay, then I will bring it to you after I buy it. Yang Ming quickly agreed and then hung up the phone. What's the matter? Qin Mengyan had some doubts about Yang Ming's current expression. Why was Zhangbin so nervous when he called? No, nothing. Yang Ming shook his head. Zhangbin asked where we are. The unique Nokia tune ringtone sounded again. This time it was Zhangbin. Yang Ming had a cold sweat. Zhangbin, what are you doing today? Do you want me to die? Yang Ming picked up the phone. Zhangbin's loud voice sounded. Bro, where are you? I am coming to find you. We are at the candy store. Yang Ming said. Then you wait for me. I will be there soon. Zhangbin said. After hanging up the phone, Yang Ming looked at Qin Mengyan nervously. He saw that this girl's face was gloomy and her eyes were staring at him. Mengyan, what's wrong with you? Yang Ming could only pretend to ask. Why did you lie to me? Qin Mengyan said with a sullen face. Well, actually the first call wasn't made by Zhang Bin. Yang Ming's mind was full of twists and turns. He was pondering how to get through this hurdle first. Then who made the call? Qin Mengyan pushed away Yang Ming's hand. It's one of my sisters. Yang Ming thought love sisters are also considered sisters, right? Anyway, I didn't lie to you. If you really want to investigate in the future, I will tell the truth. Sister? Your sister called you. Why did you hide it from me? Qin Mengyan was obviously suspicious. It's just that she asked me to do her a favor. I was a little embarrassed, so I didn't tell you. Yang Ming had already thought of a countermeasure. What favor? Qin Mengyan asked. She asked me to help her buy a few packs of sanitary pads. Yang Ming pretended to be embarrassed. In fact, his face was thicker than anyone else's. Oh, so it's like this. Qin Mengyan nodded. If what Yang Ming said was true, then it was very possible. After all, Yang Ming was a guy. It was really embarrassing to say that he bought sanitary pads for his sister. Therefore Qin Mengyan could also understand. Why can't you say it? Last time didn't you accompany me to buy it? That's also true. Then you can help me think about what to buy. To be honest, Yang Ming really didn't understand this. He couldn't distinguish between day and night use. That's right. You're a big man and you don't understand this. You should have said it earlier. I can't laugh at you. Qin Mengyan nodded and said, you wait here for Zhang Bin. I will go and pick one for you. Okay. With Qin Mengyan's help, Yang Ming was naturally happy to be idle. However, the big wife helped the little wife buy sanitary pads and the big wife was still in the dark. If this was known by Qin Mengyan, wouldn't the consequences be terrible? Shortly after Qin Mengyan left, Zhang Bin came over. Bro, where's Qin Mengyan? She was driven away by you. Yang Ming scared him. Driven away by me? What happened? Zhang Bin was stunned. Lan Ling called me before. Mengyan asked me. I said it was you who called and asked where we were. Yang Ming said, but then your call came in. Damn. Then you confessed? Can't be, right? Is this possible? You won't say that I forgot and called again? Zhang Bin said. Chapter 142. If I were to say that, it's not that you're retarded, it's that you think Mengyan is retarded. Yang Ming shook his head and patted Zhang Bin's shoulder. Okay, I've already taken care of it. Don't worry. Well, are you serious? So badass? Qin Mengyan agreed to let you two women share a husband? Zhang Bin was shocked. Such a lewd thing was realized by you? How is that possible? Do you have a brain? I just temporarily hid it from Mengyan. Yang Ming shrugged. I said that Lan Ling is my sister and asked me to buy some sanitary pads for her. So that's the case. But boss, you can't drag it on like this. Zhang Bin nodded. What are you going to do? What else can I do? I'll take one step at a time. To be honest, I didn't expect things to turn out like this. I can't give up on one of them, right? Yang Ming was helpless. I really don't know how to deal with this. Before I find a solution, I'll hide it for as long as I can. Okay, leave this secret job to me. I promise to complete the task. Zhang Bin patted his chest and said, for boss's plan of having two women share a husband, I, Zhang Bin, am duty-bound. What do you mean by having two women share a husband? Qin Mengyan threw 2 packs of sanitary pads into Yang Ming's cart and asked strangely, no, we're talking about the plot of a web novel. Yang Ming quickly signaled to Zhang Bin with his eyes. Oh yes. It's a novel called Very Evolved. Fuck, that lewd author is purely a pervert. Zhang Bin cursed. You're not allowed to read unhealthy novels in the future. Qin Mengyan glared at Yang Ming. The three of them went to the cashier to settle the bill. Zhang Bin took out a Exxon Mart prepaid card from his wallet and said, I'll pay for it. My dad saved a few extra cards for his employees and gave it to me. If I don't spend it, it will expire. That's not a good idea, is it? Qin Mengyan hesitated. If Yang Ming paid, she might accept it, but Zhang Bin was an outsider. It's okay. Let him give it to me. Yang Ming didn't care. Qin Mengyan didn't understand the friendship between men. That's right. Between brothers apart from their wives, what else can't we share? Zhang Bin grinned and winked at Qin Mengyan. Qin Mengyan blushed. Naturally, she knew that Zhang Bin was talking about her. She couldn't help but say, you're so annoying. After settling the bill, Yang Ming took out the sanitary pads and mixed the rest of the food together. Anyway, Zhang Bin had a car. He and Qin Mengyan didn't want to carry so many things around. Zhang Bin sent Qin Mengyan home first. Then he drove Yang Ming to Songjiang Industry University. Isn't your life too carefree? Zhang Bin said to Yang Ming, who was in the passenger seat. Carefree? You'll know when you have such a day. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. I still have the confidence to deal with Lan Ling, but you know Qin Mengyan's character. So there's still a long way to go. Hee me. I'm not in a hurry to find a girlfriend. You know me. I like to have one-night stands. So exciting. There's no one to restrict me. I can do it whenever I want. Zhang Bin said lecherously. Yang Ming shook his head. He didn't comment on Zhang Bin's idea. To be honest, Yang Ming was still a very traditional man in his bones. Although he was a playboy and looked forward to having multiple wives, he cherished every woman around him. To put it bluntly, he belonged to the type who liked the new and didn't get tired of the old. If he had a woman, he would always have her. Even if he had a new one, he wouldn't throw away the old one. Therefore now Yang Ming was in a dilemma. Was this considered betraying Lan Ling? What was the bottom line of the voodoo? This made Yang Ming very confused. These were the key to the problem. The car drove to the entrance of the community. Without a parking permit, Yang Ming let Zhang Bin go back first. He went to Lan Ling's residence. Lan Ling opened the door for Yang Ming. She turned around and walked into the house. What's wrong with you? Yang Ming was a bit puzzled. Lan Ling usually jumped on him when she saw him. What happened today? I'm bleeding down there. Lan Ling smiled bitterly. It's the first day. The volume is the biggest. I don't dare to move. Yang Ming understood. She didn't put on a sanitary pad. No wonder she didn't dare to do strenuous exercise. But this Lan Ling was too familiar with him. She could say this so naturally. I bought the sanitary pad for you. You put it on. Why do I feel a bit awkward when you walk like this? Yang Ming shook his head and said. Okay, you help me put it on. I want you to carry me to the bathroom. Lan Ling turned around and extended her two hands. She looked at Yang Ming with her big watery eyes. Just carry me. Why are you acting like a child? With Yang Ming's strength, carrying the petite Lan Ling was a piece of cake. He easily carried her to the bathroom. Others said that women are like children for a few days. They need special care. Lan Ling said it like it was true. In fact, she made it up. Heh. Yang Ming didn't expose her. He liked Lan Ling's childishness. It gave him a different feeling. Yang Ming pulled down Lan Ling's underwear. He didn't think that changing the sanitary pad for his beloved girl was a shameful thing. Instead, it increased the fun between couples. I'll do it myself. You don't even know how to do it. Lan Ling looked at the clumsy Yang Ming and smiled. She grabbed the sanitary pad from Yang Ming's hand and stuck it on her underwear. Then she pulled it up. Don't you think that part of mine is dirty? After doing all this, Lan Ling asked faintly. Think that part of yours is dirty? How is that possible? Yang Ming didn't think about this problem at all. Hey, you are so good to me. Give me a kiss. Lan Ling returned to her usual lively self. She hugged Yang Ming and kissed him fiercely. You are the first man to change my sanitary pad. Sweat, how many more do you want? Yang Ming was a little embarrassed as he listened. Lan Ling was stunned. Then she realized that her words were a little ambiguous. How could she ask another man to change such a private thing? So she said, of course there can only be one. But if you don't want to, then there won't be one. Yang Ming smiled. Then he pointed to a plastic bag at the door and said, there is oatmeal for you there. Don't eat any cold food these few days. The oatmeal was recommended by Qin Mengyan. It was said that when a girl was having her period, drinking a cup of hot oatmeal would make her feel much better. After chatting with Lan Ling for a while, Yang Ming was ready to go home. Yang Ming told Lan Ling about the camping trip tomorrow, but he didn't tell her about Qin Mengyan. Yang Ming hadn't thought about how to say it. Before he was sure that he had completely grasped Lan Ling's heart, he didn't dare to take this risk. Moreover, there was the voodoo problem. Yang Ming had to be careful. Lan Ling didn't have any opinion. Don't worry and go have fun. My period is here, so we can't have sex. Ling Ling, what are you thinking? I didn't come to find you just for that. Yang Ming knew that Lan Ling didn't mean anything else, but he still explained, actually, I'm already very satisfied to be able to see you and hug you. We don't have to do that. I just want you to relax and have fun. I don't mean anything else. As expected, Lan Ling quickly said, it's good that you know my intentions. Yang Ming held Lan Ling's little head and kissed it fiercely. In fact, women who were on their period were the easiest to be aroused. Lan Ling, who was teased, had her eyes blurred. Yang Ming was shocked. He quickly let go of Lan Ling and said, "Don't mess around. Aren't you using your body as a joke?" Lan Ling was immediately sobered up by Yang Ming's shout. She stuck out her tongue. The more she was like this, the more Yang Ming loved Lan Ling. Lan Ling was very smart in some aspects, but she was cute in other aspects. This was obviously in line with the important characteristics of the best Lolita. When he returned home at night, Yang Ming felt a festive atmosphere. Yes, Yang Ming didn't care about his college entrance examination results, but someone did. Yang Ming was 100% sure that he could enter Songjiang Industry University, but Yang Ming's parents weren't very sure. Therefore, after Yang Ming went to school, Yang Dehai dialed the results hotline. When they learned that Yang Ming got 697.5 points, Yang Dehai and Mother Yang showed a knowing smile. This result was enough to enter Beijing. Therefore, that night Yang Dehai and Mother Yang prepared a big table of good dishes to celebrate. "Big Ming, which university are you going to enter?" When Yang Ming entered the door, Mother Yang couldn't wait to ask, "Tsinghua University or Peking University?" "Tsinghua University?" Yang Ming said, "Mom, I don't want to go to Beijing." "What? Don't want to go to Beijing?" Mother Yang frowned. Chapter 143. Big Ming, your dad and I have asked around today. With your grades, you are guaranteed to enter Tsinghua University. Why don't you go to Beijing? Mother Yang frowned and looked at Yang Ming. "Mom, I have thought about it. I am going to apply for Songjiang Industry University." Yang Ming said firmly. "Apply for Songjiang Industry University? Why? Tsinghua University and Peking University are more famous than Songjiang Industry University. Don't be stupid." Mother Yang said anxiously. "Yes, Tsinghua University and Peking University are famous. In the future, when you look for a job, it will be more convenient." Yang Dehai also came over. "Dad, Mom, I have decided to apply for Songjiang Industry University." Yang Ming said. Zhang Bin and Chen Mengyan also applied for this university. "Big Ming, are you talking about the study committee member in your class? You stayed in Songjiang for a woman?" Mother Yang was a little angry. "It is part of the reason, but not entirely. To be honest, if it was in the past, Yang Ming might have planned for his future. But now he could choose not to go to university. With the ability he had now, he would not have to worry about food and clothing. Moreover, Lan Ling also rented a house here." "Big Ming, have you thought about it?" Yang Dehai sighed and asked. "Dad, I have thought about it." Yang Ming said solemnly, "I have thought about it carefully. Moreover, I plan to work with Uncle Zhang during my time in university. After graduation, I will go to his company. This is a good opportunity. I don't want to lose it." Yang Ming said this as an excuse, but Yang's father and Mother Yang believed it. Nowadays, the job market was getting more and more tense. Even if you graduated from a famous university, you still couldn't find a job. Yang Ming saw that his parents were hesitating, so he decided to give them a strong dose of medicine. "Dad, Mom, I am really talented in identifying jade. I have helped Uncle Zhang earn a lot of money. In addition to the first month's salary, I was also given a big bonus. It was just given out today. I am going to give it to you." "Really?" Yang Dehai also felt that what Yang Ming said made sense. Yang Dehai knew about the scale of Zhang Jiefeng's company. Now Yang Ming had more than 20 million yuan of fixed assets. If Yang Ming could work there, it would be a good home. "Okay, then show me and your mother. How much did you get in your first month?" Yang Ming took out a bank book that he had already prepared. When Zhang Jiefeng transferred the 200,000 yuan to Yang Ming went to the bank to open another account and deposited 8,000 yuan in it. It wasn't that he didn't want to save more, but he was afraid that his parents wouldn't accept it. After all, his parents had raised him for 18 years. Now that Yang Ming could earn money on his own, his first thought was to be filial to his parents Ming Can. However, they reminded Yang Ming to be careful. The next morning, Zhang Bin came to Yang Ming's house to pick him up. Because of the small accident yesterday, the Chrysler 300C was repainted by Yang Ming. Today Zhang Bin drove his mother's Audi A4. Zhang Bin was a little showy for a man to drive a red A4, but he couldn't do anything about it. If Zhang Bin didn't call him, Yang Ming wouldn't have thought that this car was driven by Zhang Bin. "It can't be so showy." But I like it. Yang Ming used to like Audi a lot. When he saw this A4 his heart was itching. You can drive if you like it. Zhang Bin was looking for a scapegoat. He attracted a lot of attention just now. He couldn't help it. The red A4 was too eye-catching. Zhang Bin jumped down from the driver's seat. This was exactly what Yang Ming wanted. Yang Ming got into the car and tried to get a feel for the car. He reversed the car and drove out of the neighborhood. You drove well. Zhang Bin complimented. Of course. Yang Ming said in his heart. Are you kidding me? My eyes are better than the fucking rearview mirror. It has a complete long-distance perspective function. I can see what is behind the car just by glancing behind. Yang Ming realized how useful his special ability was when he started driving. Not only could he see the road ahead, but he could also know if there was a traffic jam in front. When he reached Qin Mingyan's neighborhood, Yang Ming called Qin Mingyan. He told her yesterday that he would pick her up this morning to go to school together. Hello, how are you? I'm looking for Qin Mingyan. Yang Ming said into the phone. Yang Ming? Wait for a moment. The man on the phone said. How did he know that my name is Yang Ming? The voice is familiar. Could it be that Qin Mingyan told her father my name? When Yang Ming was thinking, Qin Mingyan's voice came over. Yang Ming, wait for me. I'll be downstairs soon. After about 10 minutes, Qin Mingyan appeared at the entrance of the neighborhood. Qin Mingyan wore a white shirt with a small black vest and a pair of light blue jeans. She looked very pure. Here. Yang Ming stuck his head out of the window and waved at Qin Mingyan. Are you sure? You're driving? Qin Mingyan was stunned. She looked at the red Audi A4 in surprise. At this time, Zhang Bin had taken the initiative to give the passenger seat to Yang Ming. Qin Mingyan got in the car and Yang Ming started the car. Zhang Bin's mother's car. I like Audi, so I'll test drive it. I didn't see it. Zhang Bin, you're really good at hiding. I didn't know that your family was so rich. Qin Mingyan smiled. She only heard Yang Ming mention Zhang Bin's family background after she saw the Chrysler 300C yesterday. Hehe, the one who is really good at hiding is your family. Zhang Bin thought that Yang Ming was already worth millions. Qin Mingyan was somewhat inexplicable. Nothing. He was talking about my exam results. Yang Ming didn't intend to tell Qin Mingyan that he was rich. He didn't want his relationship with Qin Mingyan to be mixed with money.